Welcome to the first part of my tutorial series. We're going to be shopping today. I'm going to show you how to get in a good amount of practice with painting without spending a whole lot of money. I think it's very important for this day and age to kind of keep the practice parts anyway as low cost as possible. Let's head to Home Depot now, and I'm going to show you the type of board that I like to use. As you see, we're in the board section. My personal favorite is the MDF board. I like this one best because it is a 1/4 inch. It's not flimsy whatsoever. There's many things you can do with it. If you want a custom cut, you can have that right down the middle if you want. And then what I did was down the middle, slice, slice, slice. Got about 12 canvases out of this one sheet. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to prep the surfaces. First thing we're going to do is grab a roller. Just a small one is sufficient for this size canvas, and we're going to start just by defluffing. There are a lot of little loose hairs and fibers and all that kind of stuff which can get trapped inside of the paint when we roll. So just using a basic lint roller. I like to do a twice over, and this is just because it is a new roller. Just make sure you're getting everything off. You can see I'm slightly rolling it every time, just to make sure I'm getting around the entire thing. You're going to want to hit the edges as well, and that will pretty much do it. Now our roller is nice and clean, ready to roll. Now we're going to take our white gesso. We're going to pour a little bit into the tray and put our roller in. Try to get as even as a coat as possible. We're not putting an insane amount of paint on, just enough to cover it. Starting a nice back and forth motion. Make sure you get right to the edges. And very simply, we just want to make sure it's all coated. You can see here I'm pushing a little bit harder just to get the most miles out of the paint. You can always add more if you find that enough is not going down. So we're just loading up to do another canvas. Since we did get a number of cuts out of this MDF board, it's best to batch prep. So you're not doing it every single day. Just kind of get it out of the way. And this way we always have prepped and ready surfaces to paint on. So we're going to start by just ripping the sheet off. We're going to be using a 1-inch black tape roll to tape off the edges. I personally like this because it helps keep the end product looking a little bit cleaner. And since it's going to be on paper, you're most likely going to be wanting to put these in frames. So it allows a little bit of that extra room. Once we have that first strip on, we're going to fold the sticky side over and create pull tabs. And it's going to help with the ease of removing the tape layer. I'll show you a visual example right now. So we just have the overlapping tape. And you can see how easy that kind of comes off. We don't have to fumble around using our nails to kind of dig up the tape or anything like that. Just make it a lot easier for ourselves. Really press down those edges. We're not going to be digging into the paper. We're just sealing it. So just run your finger along those edges and make sure it's smooth. We don't want any little ripples, anything like that. So just make sure it's flush, or else that paint will seep beneath. Now that the tape is down, we're going to use either a matte medium or clear gesso. You don't necessarily have to do the 2 coats. I think just getting away with one is totally fine. So here we go. We're just going to pour a little bit right onto the paper using a big 2-inch brush. And you're going to notice it will absorb quite a bit of the gesso, but less is more. And we're just going to start in the center and kind of spread it around. Make sure you're working it up to the corners. Make sure you're getting even right over top of that tape. So you can see what I'm doing right there is creating a seal. And this is the trick to make the crispiest edges possible. If you weren't to do this, there would still be a good chance that the paint could seep in between the paper and the tape. And this is because the glue on painter's tape is not the strongest intentionally, so it doesn't pull anything off the wall, right? So we need to create a seal, and the clear gesso is quite perfect for it. Make sure it's nice and even, not too much. If you find there's too much, you can just grab a paper towel and wipe your brush off. And that's pretty much it. Just let it dry overnight now, and it's ready to paint tomorrow.